Hey Sid, gonna give you a video response on your question about defect, and here's what I've come up with. According to Wikipedia, the definition as it pertains to a defect in relation to birth says this: a congenital disorder or a congenital disease is a condition existing at birth and often before birth, or that develops during the first month of life, regardless of causation. Of these diseases, those characterized by structural deformities are termed congenital anomalies. That is a different concept which involves defects in or damage to a developing fetus. Now, the key thing to that, to me, is structural deformities. To define the terminology of a defect. To me, that says while your body is developing in utero, a defect would be defined as something like a hole in the wall of the heart. It is not a completed structure. It has a deficiency. I, personally, as a trans man, have come to understand that when developing in utero, and I've gotten my information from several scientific journal articles and things of that nature that I've come across, that I've read or been posted on chat boards or whatever that I've read or gotten a hold of. My understanding is this: the fetal brain begins development prior to the structures that are your genitalia, and the brain at certain stages is hit with levels of hormone which help determine the female or male brain. So a laying of receptors, a laying of pathways and neurological pathways. So your brain will either develop as a female brain or as a male brain, or a variation on that scale, according to what hormones are introduced during its development at particular stages. And the same is said for the differentiation of the genitals. So the genitals will either, influenced by hormones, will either differentiate and form female genitals or male genitals. And then everything after that, after birth, all the secondary sex characteristics are then again modified by the hormones that your body produces. So, to me, what happened in utero was that during the stage of my brain development, I was hit with a certain amount of hormones that gave me a male patterned brain. And what happened 2 months later in the rest of the development of my genitalia, I developed as a female. And then, of course, I was born, I had a uterus, I had ovaries, and I became identified or labeled as a female. So, instead of using the term defect, I believe the term and terminology should be an incongruency. I have a brain that is a male brain, and I have a body that has been identified as a female genitalia body, and my secondary sex characteristics developed as a female through puberty. So to me, incongruency better defines what has happened with trans people, not a birth defect. Because a male brain floating around in a female body, it doesn't receive appropriate signals. My brain tells me that I should have a beard. My brain tells me that I should have a penis. My brain tells me that, hey, these breasts, I don't particularly like those. And it sends and receives signals from the body, or lack of signals for that matter, which causes my dysphoria. So, to me, it's an incongruency. What else can I say about it? My brain was perfectly formed. I have all the structural parts. They're all within normal size and range. I just had in utero development its need, or I don't know. I understand hormones and other things that function on a cellular level in the body work in kind of a lock and key fashion. Well, my locks need a male key, and that's all there is to it. Sure, my brain functions with estrogen, but as soon as I started testosterone, and the shape of the testosterone molecule is different than the shape of the estrogen molecule, and it was like, finally, somebody plugged the right key in, and my brain and my body are now coming together properly. So that's how I understand it to work. I have an incongruency, not a birth defect, and I will say that if someone, when talking about me, decides that they're going to refer to me as having an incongruency, but they mean it in a very derogatory, oppressive way, I'm still going to take offense to it. I'm still going to take offense to it, because in some way they are trying to say that I am lesser than, even if they're using correct terminology. So, so that's kind of my take on it. That's the way I feel, and that would be my dog not happy about somebody outside the window. Alright, that's me. That's what I got. That's my response to your questions about having a defect and people's opinions. As far as I'm concerned, everybody can have a damn opinion, but if you use that opinion to oppress somebody else, shut the fuck up.